Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to tackle the subject of using your camper van for your everyday vehicle instead of having a car as well as a camper van. We're going to look at the pros and cons of using your camper van for everyday use. Now for me personally, we bought this camper van coming up to a year ago with the intention of getting rid of my car, which was PCP. And what I didn't realise at the time is when you've got a PCP car, you can sell it as long as you clear the finance off. So having found this out about 8 weeks ago, I put my car up for sale and sold it about 4 weeks ago. So I now use this camper van as my everyday vehicle. So I'm going to tell you about some of the trials and tribulations that I've had over the last 4 weeks. I go to work every day driving the camper van. I'm fortunate in that I have quite an easy journey to work. I work just over 4 miles away from home. The downside for me is I come home at lunchtime to take Abby out. So I do my journey twice a day. But it's a nice drive. It's the camper van for us. We have a Ford Transit Custom and it's a nice drive. It's pretty much like driving a car really. It's just a bit bigger. Does it save me money? Well, yes it does. And the obvious one for me is I'm not paying out the finance on a car anymore, so that's a big saving on its own. I save on insurance, I save on road tax. The car wasn't an age for an MOT, but it would be next year, and that's another saving. You're not paying out two of everything when you use your camper van as an everyday vehicle. One of the reasons I decided to sell the car and buy a camper van instead was because I've always wanted a little camper van. I thought it would be fun. A camper van is much more fun to drive than driving a car around. I have a couple of medical issues that cause problems with my stomach, so having the camper means I've also got an onboard loo. It's not got a built-in cassette toilet type of one, but we do have a porta potty which lives under the seat where I'm sitting. So if I have issues with my stomach on the way to work or on the way home, I can pull in and I can use the loo. So that for me is a big advantage. Other ways it saves me money is obviously I don't have to put fuel in 2 different vehicles, and I don't have to wash 2 different vehicles either, which is better as well because that's saving on the water, and our water's metered at our house. So saving money on things like washing the cars and the vans and everything else, it makes a big difference. Every little that you can save makes a massive difference. Another advantage I've found is if I forget to take my pack up to work, and even though I come home at lunchtime, and sometimes I've left my lunch in the fridge till I get home at lunchtime, and I've got halfway back to work and I think, oh no, I've left my pack up in the fridge. There's always food in here, so I'll never starve when I'm at work. I also keep it pretty much well packed, so we have the food, we have some clothes in here, we have shoes, we have whatever. Everything is kept in the camper van that goes in the camper van with us every time. So I've always got with me whatever it is that I need. What have I found to be the disadvantages? Well, I think the first one is sometimes you just want to nip down to local shops for something that you've run out of, and getting the camper van off the drive is not quite as easy as getting the car off the drive and nipping 5 minutes down the road to get whatever it is you've forgotten and coming back and reversing it back onto the drive. So that is a little disadvantage. Parking. When you go to the supermarkets, it's not always as easy to park. As I've said, this is a Ford Transit Custom, so it's not a big camper van, it's only quite small. And as a general rule, it will fit into a normal parking bay. The very first time I went to the supermarket, I parked too far back in the bay, so the back end was hung over the line between the 2 sets of bays. I've got a bit better at it since then, of judging where I am. So, but yeah, it's not always easy to park. You've also got to look for height restrictions. Although this isn't a particular high van, it's not a high top. It goes under most barriers, but not all. So you've got to check your height if you're going to park in a car park to make sure you can park and get through the barrier. Another downside for me is my car used to do 55 to 60 to gallon. This does 35. It's a heck of a drop in fuel. It's also diesel, whereas my car was petrol and it was a mild hybrid, so it used to save a heck of a lot on fuel. But at 35 miles to the gallon, it eats a lot more fuel, so I'm putting nearly double the amount of fuel in that I was in the car. However, having said that, I'm still saving a lot more by not having the car, so that's a bit of a good point and a bad point. I'm spending more on fuel, but I'm still saving. Another disadvantage is that you're putting more wear and tear on the vehicle. If you're using your camper van, I do approximately 90 mile a week going backwards and forwards to work, say. That's another 90 mile on top of what we're going to do anyway in the camper every week. So yeah, you have got to account for some wear and tear. But again, I'm only paying for wear and tear on one vehicle. Insurance. As I said earlier, I'm not paying out for two insurances, which is an advantage. The disadvantage is the camper is slightly dearer to insure than what my car was. I know insurances seem to have dropped a bit this year, so I don't know what my insurance is going to come out at. Also, because I've sold the car, I can now use my no claims discount, which I have full lot on the campervan insurance, because I said once I've sold the car and I'm not using my no claims, I can move it onto the camper. The insurance is due in May, so I'm not going to bother messing about with it until then. So I'm hoping the insurance is going to come down with a bang this year and not be anywhere near what it was last year. What made me decide to sell the car and use a camper van as a main vehicle? Well, a lot of it was to do with money, to be fair. I just thought to myself, if I can save this, that and other, that means more camping trips. If I'm not spending that money on paying for a vehicle as well as the camper, I can go camping a lot more, which again is a massive bonus to me, because anybody who knows me knows I love to be out on the road. I love to be on a campsite. It's my happy place. So again, that really is the main reason. And also I just thought driving a camper around is much more fun than just driving an everyday car around. Let me know what you think. Would you drive a camper as an everyday vehicle instead of a car? Let me know in the comments below. I suppose the big question is, should you use a camper van as your daily vehicle? Well, it depends, doesn't it, really, on your lifestyle, what you're going to use it for, whether you've got to go to work twice a day like I do, whether you just want to go camping once in a blue moon or whatever. It really depends on your lifestyle. For me, it's definitely working out well. I absolutely love driving the camper van. It is a nuisance going to the shops and things, but having said that, Andy's still got his car, so I can always nick that if I need a car. So I hope you've found these advantages and disadvantages helpful. I know there's not many of them, but I think they're the major things you need to consider if you're going to use a camper van as an everyday vehicle. I'm not talking about living in a camper van, I'm just talking about using it instead of a car. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if you want to ask me any questions about what I think about using my camper van as a everyday vehicle, just ask me the questions in the comments and I will reply to you and let you know what I think. But for now, that is it, and I'll catch you on the next vlog. Bye for now.